I brought this team up in a video I did the other day, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about them as we are moving down the stretch of this women's basketball season in college. And it's none other than the Iowa Hawkeyes because they are looking more and more like a team to be watched out for in the NCAA tournament. Let's discuss this more in depth, man. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, where we talk facts over feelings, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showman. Hit the like, subscribe, leave your comments, follow us on social media. Our Instagram right there handle is right there for you. Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball on IG. Post different stuff on there that we don't post on YouTube. So check it out. Do follow us there and share it. You know who we are. We talk we talk, and some people don't like it, some people do, and I appreciate everyone who comes through. Iowa Hawkeyes, man. We all know I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, but I am not an Iowa Hawkeyes fan. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat and pussyfoot around. I couldn't care less about whether or not the Iowa Hawkeyes win or lose. It doesn't really matter to me, but I do show the respect of what they have done this season. Iowa Hawkeyes are playing hellify well right now. They're 22-5. They're 13-3 in the Big Ten. They just came off their biggest win of the season, an 18-point smashing of sixth-ranked Michigan. Destroyed them in the fourth quarter with a 20-9 fourth quarter. Held Michigan to, I mean, Jesus, 44 points. 44 points. That's Michigan's lowest scoring total of the year by 8. Their lowest previous to that was 52 against Washington. And besides that, like you're talking, the next lowest one besides that was 66 in his 3-point loss to UCLA. So this is a team that typically puts up points, can score, has people that can make shots. I mean, they had in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 games. They had 1, 2, 3, 390 plus point games, 680 plus point games. This team can put up points. Holding them to 44 points, that's some crazy work right there by Iowa. And Iowa did have their little struggle earlier this year where you thought maybe it was falling apart for the Hawkeyes. They went out west, got smacked up by USC and UCLA back to back. Then lost at home to Minnesota. Before righting the ship, they beat Washington, ranked 25th at the time. They beat Nebraska. They beat Purdue. They beat Purdue. They beat Michigan, number 6 in the country. They still got Illinois and Wisconsin left on the schedule. Both games that they probably should win. Just looking at the standings, this is a team that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked wins. They have wins over Nebraska when they were ranked. They got a win over Michigan State by 7 when they were ranked 15th. They got a win by 7 over Maryland when they were ranked 15th on the road, no less. They got a 21-point win over Ohio State. They got a 5-point win over Baylor, who was ranked 7th at the time. They do have a loss to Iowa State. They did get smacked up by UCLA on the road and got smacked up by UConn on the at that wasn't on the road. That was in New York, I believe that game was. Yeah, that was a game in New York, a neutral site court, neutral game, neutral game site. But they got a squad that's really starting to come into its own, led by Ava Hayden, who's averaging 17-3, 7.6 rebounds, a block a game, shooting 64.4% from the field. Hannah Stuelke is averaging 13.7 points, 8.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists on 54.4% from the field. And Chaz Wright, Chazadi Wright, is averaging 12.7 points. She shoots 46% from 3-point range. Taylor Stremlow is hitting 42.4 from 3. Taylor McCabe is hitting 37.4 from 3. So they got some players out here that are making some noise. McCabe is unfortunately out for the year with a torn ACL, though, but she was playing well until she got hurt. So that's what they got. I mean, they're a team that is heavily reliant on their starters. It's just what it is. They're heavily like most college basketball teams. They're not tremendously deep. They play their first five a lot of minutes. Their most minutes off the bench really is Journey Houston. Um, that's the main player that comes off their bench. So this is a team that I mean, just looking at them, they got some other games where they got other players that came off the bench, but this is a squad here that realistically has solidified themselves as a contender. Now, do I think that they're a Final Four team? I don't. I think they can make a run to the Elite Eight. I think that's probably the peak of where they'll get is an Elite Eight run. However, you never know with anything. Like anything in life, if you play well the right day, you could make some noise. Iowa is now ranked ninth in the country. It's interesting. They're ranked ninth. They ranked 13th when they beat Michigan. They beat Michigan, and Michigan drops from 6 to 8. But Iowa only gets up to number 9. That's a little bit interesting to me. I think that's ridiculous. They should be ranked at least number 8. They should be ahead of Michigan, being that they both have 22-5 records. They're ahead of them in the Big Ten standings. So it's really odd that they're ranked behind Michigan. Don't really get that. They're one of one, two, three Big Ten schools ranked in the top 10, being UCLA at number 2, Michigan at 8, Iowa at number 9. So right now they're looking at from the projections of bracketology by ESPN's Charlie Cream. He currently has Iowa sitting as a number 2 seed, playing in Iowa City, hosting LMU. Then on the opposite side, playing NC State and North Dakota State. So obviously that's subject to change, and this is in the same region with South Carolina. So they have an opportunity to get South Carolina in the Elite Eight. And looking at that bracket, if that bracket was to be the bracket and they were to be the 2 seed, I think they have a really good shot to get to the Elite Eight because they'd have to play Duke potentially or Georgia. NC State, Duke, Georgia are pretty much the only competition prior to a matchup with South Carolina in the Elite Eight. I think South Carolina would roll them. But hey, man, considering the fact that Iowa is now a couple years removed from Caitlin Clark, I think it's pretty impressive for them to still be maintaining some level of basketball at a high level. Last year they got dropped in the second round as a six, was it? Were they a 6 seed? Yeah, they were a 6 seed last year. They won their first round game, then they got absolutely destroyed by Oklahoma in the second round. So that this is a team that has if they can get to the Elite Eight, I think that's a very, very successful season. Naturally, people want to play as deep as they can play, of course, but you have to keep things in perspective as to the talent level on the team and their performance. I mean, they're this is not Caitlin Clark's team. Like people, I posted something about they won 62-44 on the Instagram, and someone replied, "Yeah, Caitlin Clark would score a lot more points." Well, this isn't Caitlin Clark's team. This is a different squad. This is a team that defends, that has to fight and claw. I mean, you can look at look at the defensively. They've held teams to 44, 67, 56. 70, 68, 66, 50. They have a 56-53 win over Indiana, 67-58. They have another game here, 69, 60. They beat Miami 64-61 early this year. They beat Baylor 57-52. So this is a team that's played a lot of lower scoring games. They do have their share of higher scoring games, like they scored 99 against Penn State. They not counting this, they put 102 against Lindenwood. Who cares about that? Looking to see any real opponents that they put some points up on. They put 85 on Maryland, 91 on Ohio State, 80 on Nebraska, 83 on Purdue. So they have the ability to score some points, but let's be real. This is a team that's going to win playing defense and really trying to bottle people up defensively. Hayden is their number one option naturally, just from she's led the team in scoring most of the season. So what are y'all thoughts on Iowa? I know I have a lot of Iowa people here because of Caitlin Clark and so forth, but are you happy with what you're seeing this year from Iowa? Are you excited about them? Do you think? I mean, realistically, being completely objective, do you think they have a real shot to get to the Final Four? I think it comes down to any shot for them to get to the Final Four. I think comes largely down to the bracket that they're in. They probably they probably will not be in a bracket with UCLA because they are conference opponents. So I don't see that one happening. If they beat UCLA in the Big Ten tournament, I think that would go a long way confidence wise because they got absolutely smoked by them earlier this year. But that's the team in the Big Ten. They just beat the hell out of Michigan. They're probably going to see at least one, if not both of those teams again in the Big Ten championship. So you're looking at more than likely a matchup with somebody in the Elite Eight, either a Texas, a South Carolina, or a UConn. If it's UConn, they'll get beat by 30 again. Like they lost by 26 to UConn. I think UConn runs them off the floor again. Texas could be a team. Texas is one of those inconsistent squads in terms of they win most of their games, but they're 26-3, but they have this way of just looking ugly at times and losing games because they just play an ugly brand of ball. Even in games they've won, at times it just looks brutal. So they play that physical style, and they get in people's throats, man. And that's how they're able to win games. But then there are those games that they have been. I mean, because they do have a win over UCLA. They're the only team UCLA's lost to is Texas. They do have a win over South Carolina, but again, this is rock'em sock'em. Though South Carolina, Texas are very similar in nature and physicality. They both have a win over each other. South Carolina though beat them in conference play rather than that game was the game that they lost was against Texas in the tournament. But that would be I think Texas is probably the one team that I think they could possibly beat if they played them in the Elite Eight. The other three, I think they would just get rolled. Just being real. And I don't think they'll be put in a bracket with UCLA as a 2 seed. So if they're a 2 seed, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see which bracket they get put in. I think a lot of people would love to see them play South Carolina. I mean, can you call Caitlin Clark to come back for a game? Because that's what it would take. You would need someone to drop 35 or 40 in that game and crush Carolina from the perimeter because Carolina is big as hell, and Iowa is not. Iowa does not have that crazy size. They've never had that crazy size. Um, Hayden is 6'4", but beyond that, their only other big is Hannah Stalky, who's 6'2", and that's not big. So, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. But I am very impressed with Iowa's performance this year. I'm actually pretty surprised with what the talent level they got that they are doing what they're doing. So, hey man, shoot kudos to them. Shout out to them. They're having a hell of a year, and I think it goes a long way for future recruiting for them because I know they are in the mix with big recruits now. They currently have McKenna Wolsgo. I think that's probably Wolixko. She's out of Archbishop Midi in California. She's a 6'2" wing. She's a 5-star, the 6th-ranked player in the class of 2026. That she is the main piece of their class. So that's a pretty big pickup for them to be able to grab someone in the top 10 in recruiting. That's the only one I see here as a commit for them. This one is McKenna Wolixko. And that's all I see for them here. Maybe ESPN is, maybe the other ones have it, but to get that type of player, I mean, that's obviously big for them. But y'all, let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. Are you a believer in Iowa, or do you think that they are someone that goes out early and falls apart in the second round or something like that? Hayden is a sophomore, so you got her for at least 2 more years. You got her for 2 more years, so she's going to be a big-time player for this team for the next 2 years. So I think that's exciting for them. But that's all we got for this one, man. Y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. God bless. This is Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.